Today I want to talk about emotional harm because I think emotional harm is one of those concepts that lots of parents and people have difficulty understanding. I think it's very different from physical harm. I think most people have a grasp of what physical harm is because at the end of the day, people can see what the result of physical harm. They can see the injury or the bruise or the mark on the skin. And so they have a fairly clear idea of what physical harm involves. I think it's different when it comes to emotional harm because people can't see it. People can't see it and perhaps don't understand so so clearly what it is. So what I want to do is just spend some time sharing with you my experience of the ways in which parents can be physically harmful, not physically, sorry, emotionally harmful to their children. And I think if you stick with this video to the end, you'll get a fairly clear idea of what emotional harm is. It won't be an exhaustive list, and I probably will share with you just 7 or 8 ways in which parents can be emotionally harmful to children. And in another video, I'll share some more ways. So yes, hopefully you'll get a fairly clear idea of what emotional harm is if you stick to the end of this video. And just to say, this is, again, it's not an exhaustive list, neither is it in any order of priority. But the first thing I would say, in which way in which parents can be harmful or abusive to their children emotionally, is when children are exposed to harmful environments. Now, a harmful environment could be when children are exposed to violence or arguments or alcohol abuse, alcohol or drug abuse, mental health, or any kind of a negative addiction. That's not helpful to any child. The second way is when a child is exposed to multiple carers. Children need predictability. They need to know what's happening next. They need to be secure and know who their main carer is. They won't know that when they are, when they have multiple carers. The third way is that children could be harmed is when one parent is abusive or speaks negatively about the other parent. That is not helpful to any child because children don't need to hear or see that. No child wants to hear another parent talking negatively about the other parent. And sometimes that leads to alienation of one of the parents. The fourth way is when a child is excessively criticised. Children need praise. They don't need criticism. We all get too much criticism anyhow. So it's very helpful when children get much more praise than criticism. The fifth way is when a child is not provided with appropriate boundaries. And let me give you an example of this. If a child is allowed to see adult movies or adult behaviour, they're still a child. They shouldn't be seeing those adult things which aren't helpful to them to see. And they are harmful to them because they're still a child and need to be, see appropriate things, not inappropriate things. Sixthly, when a child is parentified. What do I mean by parentified? That means when instead of the parent caring for the child is caring for the parent, so the roles are reversed. So that's clearly not helpful for the child because they're still a child and they need to be, treated as a child and to get the benefits of experiencing a positive childhood. Now, seventhly, this is one of the worst, most painful things is when a child feels abandoned. Children experience that as death, really, because all children want to feel loved and they want to feel cared for, and the worst thing they can think about is to be abandoned. And finally, number 8 is rejection. It's very close to number 7. When children feel rejected, it's the worst, one of the worst things they could feel. They don't feel loved. They don't feel wanted, and all children need to feel that. They need to feel loved and wanted. So hopefully that gives you a fairly clear idea of how children can experience emotional harm and emotional abuse, and how that that can be very upsetting and distressing for them. I hope it gives you a clearer understanding of what that means. Certainly because in the family court, most parents don't have a clear understanding of that. So I hope that helps a great deal.